Napoli want Rasmus Højlund, but can they afford him? What happens when an Italian giant sets its sights on Manchester United's young Danish striker? We might be about to find out. Recent reports suggest Napoli are preparing a summer move for Rasmus Højlund, United's 21-year-old forward who has shown flashes of brilliance in his debut season at Old Trafford. But there's a major hurdle standing in their way: Manchester United's £50 million asking price. This potential transfer story raises so many questions for United fans. Should the club even consider selling such a young talent? What would this mean for United's striker situation? And is Napoli's interest a vote of confidence in Højlund's abilities, or a sign that United might be willing to move on already? Let's dive into all the details of this developing story. Napoli's interest. Why Højlund? Napoli has a strong track record of identifying and developing talented forwards. Over the years, they've had stars like Edinson Cavani, Gonzalo Higuain, Dries Mertens, and most recently Victor Osimhen leading their attack. With Osimhen potentially on the move this summer, Napoli needs to plan for the future. Højlund fits their typical profile perfectly. He's young, only 21, with significant room for growth. He's physically imposing at 6 feet 2 inches with excellent strength. His pace allows him to get in behind defenses. He's shown good aerial ability. His finishing, while inconsistent, has shown signs of real quality. For a club like Napoli that often buys players before they reach their peak and then develops them further, Højlund represents an ideal target. They could see him as someone who could lead their line for years to come, potentially even becoming more successful than he's been at United so far. There's also the Serie A connection. While Højlund hasn't played in Italy before, the Danish striker's style of play might be well suited to the tactical nature of Italian football. His combination of physical presence and technical ability could make him an effective striker in Serie A. The financial reality. Can Napoli afford United's price tag? Here's where things get complicated. Manchester United reportedly wants around £50 million for Højlund, roughly what they paid Atlanta for him in the summer of 2023. A base fee of £42 million plus add-ons that could take the deal to around £72 million. For Napoli, matching this price would be extremely difficult. The Italian club typically doesn't spend that kind of money on a single player unless they've just received a massive transfer fee for one of their stars. While they might get a substantial sum if Victor Osimhen leaves, they likely won't want to reinvest all of that in one player. So what options might be on the table? Potential transfer structures. 1. Loan with option to buy. Napoli might propose a loan deal for the 2025-26 season with an option to make the move permanent. This would give them time to see how Højlund adapts to Serie A before committing to a large transfer fee. 2. Lower fee plus add-ons. They could offer a lower base fee, perhaps £30 to £35 million, with significant performance-based add-ons that could eventually take the deal closer to United's asking price. 3. Player exchange. Including a Napoli player that might interest United could help bridge the financial gap. 4. Staggered payments. Spreading the £50 million over several years might make the deal more manageable for Napoli's finances. However, unless Napoli can come close to matching United's valuation through one of these approaches, it seems unlikely that the transfer would proceed. United invested heavily in Højlund as a long-term prospect, and selling him after just 1 or 2 seasons for anything less than what they paid would represent poor business. Manchester United's perspective. Sell or keep? The big question from United's side is simple. Why would they even consider selling Højlund so soon? The Danish striker was bought as a long-term investment. At just 21 years old when he joined, United clearly saw him as a player for the future rather than an immediate world beater. His first season has had ups and downs, but that's to be expected from a young striker adapting to the Premier League. Here are some factors that might influence United's thinking. Reasons United might consider selling. 1. New manager's plans. If Ruben Amorim doesn't see Højlund as fitting his tactical system, the club might be open to moving him on. 2. Financial needs. If United need funds for other priority signings, selling Højlund could free up substantial money for reinvestment. 3. Performance concerns. Though it's early, If the coaching staff has identified limitations in HOJLUND's game that they think might prevent him from reaching the level United needs, they could decide to cut their losses. 4. Another striker target. If United are close to signing another forward, like the reported interest in Victor OSIMHEN, they might be more willing to let HOJLUND go. Reasons United should keep HOJLUND. 1. Development time. Most young strikers need time to adapt to the Premier League. Selling HOJLUND before he's had sufficient time to develop could be a serious mistake. 2. Flashes of quality. Despite inconsistency, HOJLUND has shown genuine moments of quality that suggest he could become a top striker with more experience. 3. Physical tools. His combination of size, strength, and speed is rare and provides a foundation that coaching can build upon. 4. Financial loss. Selling for less than they paid would represent poor business and bad planning. 5. Fan connection. HOJLUND has connected well with United fans, who appreciate his work rate and passion. Given these factors, it seems more likely that United would resist Napoli's approaches unless the offer was extremely compelling. The club has a history of being patient with young talent, and HOJLUND has shown enough promise to suggest patience could be rewarded. HOJLUND's first season at United, a mixed bag. To understand why Napoli might want HOJLUND despite United's reluctance to sell, let's look at his first season at Old Trafford. HOJLUND joined Manchester United in the summer of 2023 for a significant fee but arrived with an injury that delayed his debut. Once he got on the pitch, his season could be described as a series of promising moments mixed with stretches of learning and adaptation. The positives. Started his Champions League campaign with 5 goals in 4 games, showing his potential on the big stage. Demonstrated impressive physical attributes, often bullying defenders with his strength. Showed good movement and instincts in the box. Worked extremely hard for the team, pressing from the front. Built a good connection with the fans, who appreciated his effort and passion. The challenges. Took time to score his first Premier League goal. Sometimes looked isolated in United's tactical setup. Struggled against deep-sitting defenses. Still developing his link-up play. Experienced the inconsistency typical of young strikers. For a 21-year-old in his first Premier League season, these mixed results aren't surprising or particularly concerning. Many great strikers have taken time to find their feet in England's top division. The question is whether United will give him that time or if they might be tempted by a substantial offer. What would HOJLUND bring to Napoli? If Napoli somehow managed to convince United to sell, what would they be getting in HOJLUND? They'd be acquiring a young striker with significant potential who already has experience at a top club and in the Champions League. HOJLUND's physical profile is impressive. He's tall, strong, and surprisingly quick for his size. He's shown an ability to finish with both feet and his head when given the opportunity. In the right system, with regular playing time and confidence, HOJLUND could flourish. Napoli has a good track record of developing strikers, and the slightly slower pace of Serie A, compared to the Premier League, might give him more time to make decisions in the final third. The Danish forward also brings a strong work ethic and professional attitude. Despite difficulties in his first season at United, he never stopped working or showed signs of giving up. This mentality would serve him well in Italy, where tactical discipline is highly valued. Could other clubs enter the race? If word gets out that Manchester United might consider offers for HOJLUND, Napoli likely wouldn't be the only interested party. Several other clubs might see the potential in the young Dane. Potential other suitors. 1. Bundesliga clubs. German teams like Borussia Dortmund or RB Leipzig have a history of developing young talents and might see HOJLUND as a good fit for their high-intensity systems. 2. Other Serie A teams. If HOJLUND is seen as well-suited to Italian football, other Serie A clubs with financial means might enter the race. 3. La Liga options. Spanish clubs looking for a physical presence up front could show interest, especially if they see value in his Champions League experience. 4. Premier League rivals. Though United would be reluctant to sell to a direct competitor, clubs in need of a young striker with Premier League experience might test United's resolve. Competition from other clubs could actually work in United's favor. potentially driving up the price if they do decide to sell. However, it seems more likely that United would resist approaches from any club unless the offer was simply too good to refuse. The impact on United's forward line. If United were to sell HOJLUND, what would that mean for their attacking options? The club would almost certainly need to bring in another striker, either as a direct replacement or as part of a broader reshaping of the forward line. Recent reports have linked United with several strikers, including Victor OSIMHEN, suggesting the club might be considering changes regardless of HOJLUND's situation. United's current attacking options beyond HOJLUND include Marcus Rashford, who has played centrally at times but seems better suited to the left wing, and Anthony Martial, whose contract situation remains uncertain. Neither represents an obvious long-term solution to the central striker position. This means that if HOJLUND were to leave, United would be under pressure to sign at least one proven goalscorer, possibly even two if they want different options for different tactical approaches. Big questions for United fans. This potential transfer raises several important questions that United fans will be debating. Should United even consider selling? After just one season, is it too soon to make a judgment on HOJLUND's potential? Many great strikers have taken time to adapt to the Premier League. Selling now could be a decision United later regret. What would this mean for United's transfer strategy? If United bought a young player for development but then sold him after just one season, what does that say about their long-term planning? Is there a coherent strategy behind these decisions? Is £50 million the right valuation? Given what United paid and HOJLUND's first season performance, is £50 million a fair asking price? Should United hold out for more, or would they accept less with the right structure of add-ons? Who would replace him? If HOJLUND leaves, who should United target as his replacement? Should they go for a more experienced striker or continue the youth policy with another developing talent? Is this just transfer rumor noise? How serious is Napoli's interest, and how open is United to selling? Could this just be agents creating noise to improve their client's position? The developmental perspective. Patience required. From a player development standpoint, there's a strong argument for keeping HOJLUND and continuing to invest in his growth. At just 21, he's still very young for a central striker, a position that often requires more experience and maturity than other roles. Many of the world's top strikers didn't hit their peak until their mid to late 20s. By selling HOJLUND now, United might be giving up on a player right before he makes a significant leap in his development. There's also the psychological impact to consider. HOJLUND chose United as a place to grow and develop. If the club shows faith in him through challenging periods, that could help build his confidence and accelerate his improvement. Conversely, if he senses the club is ready to move on quickly, it could undermine his confidence. What does this mean for United's summer plans? Whether United keep or sell HOJLUND, the striker position seems likely to be a focus of their summer transfer activity. If they keep him, they might still look to bring in a more experienced forward to share the burden and perhaps mentor the young Dane. This could be ideal for HOJLUND's development, giving him the chance to learn from a veteran while still getting playing time. If they sell him, they'll need to identify and secure at least one quality replacement, which won't be easy in a market where every top club seems to be looking for reliable goalscorers. Either way, United's handling of this situation will reveal a lot about the club's current transfer strategy and long-term vision. Are they building for the future with young talents like HOJLUND, or are they shifting to a more immediate focus on proven performers? The fan perspective, mixed feelings. United fans likely have mixed feelings about the prospect of selling HOJLUND. On one hand, many recognize that he's still developing and needs time to reach his potential. The flashes of quality he's shown suggest he could become a very good striker with the right support and patience. On the other hand, if United could recoup their investment and then use those funds to sign a more proven goalscorer, some fans might see that as good business. The Premier League is incredibly competitive, and United need players who can deliver consistently now, not just in a few years. What most fans would likely agree on is that if United do sell HOJLUND, they need to have a clear plan for replacing him. Going into a season without sufficient quality and depth in the striker position would be a recipe for frustration. What might happen next? Looking ahead, several scenarios could play out regarding HOJLUND's future. 1. United reject all approaches. The most likely outcome is that United make it clear HOJLUND is not for sale, and they continue to develop him next season. 2. Loan deal. If United sign another striker but still believe in HOJLUND's potential, they might consider a loan to give him regular playing time elsewhere. 3. Napoli make a serious offer. If Napoli somehow find the funds to meet United's valuation, negotiations could move forward. 4. Partial sale. United might consider a creative deal structure that allows them to maintain some control over HOJLUND's future while still letting him develop at Napoli. Whatever happens, this situation highlights the challenges of player development at top clubs, where the pressure for immediate results often conflicts with the time needed for young talents to reach their potential. Final thoughts. Patience or profit? The potential interest from Napoli in Rasmus HOJLUND presents Manchester United with a classic football dilemma. Stick with a developing talent or cash in if the right offer comes along. For now, all signs point to United being reluctant to sell unless they receive an offer well above their £50 million valuation. HOJLUND has shown enough potential to suggest he could become an important player for the club if given time to develop. Napoli's interest, while flattering, probably won't be enough to change United's plans unless they can somehow find the funds to make a truly compelling offer. Even then, United would need to carefully consider whether selling a young talent like HOJLUND aligns with their long-term vision. What do you think United should do? Should they give HOJLUND more time to develop at Old Trafford? Or should they consider selling if Napoli or another club meets their asking price? Could a loan deal be the perfect middle ground? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned to Unite United News for all the latest updates on this developing transfer story and everything else happening at Manchester United. Remember, the summer transfer window is full of surprises, and what seems unlikely today could become reality tomorrow. That's the beauty and the madness of football transfers. You never quite know what might happen next.